Breaking news to tell you about over at the Gaza-Israel border. We're going to go to David Lee Miller for a live report on the very latest on what's going on in that very tense and clearly ongoing situation. David?
Just moments ago, there was another Israeli airstrike. You can see it off in the distance. This is less than a mile. This is less than a mile from where I'm standing. I'm going to listen to this and watch it. You can hear the aircraft overhead right now. Tremendously powerful blasts less than half a mile from our position here on the Israeli side of the border. And this has been the scene now for the last few hours. The Israeli military says that it has hit more than 20 targets today alone. Among some of those targets that have been hit, they say, have been the homes of militants, homes that have been used to manufacture as well as to store weapons. Nevertheless, we have seen that Hamas and the militants continue to remain defiant. There have been a number of rockets that have been fired at cities of Ashkelon and Ashdod, as well as Beersheba today. There were no injuries, but one of those rockets did hit an 8-story building, proving that Hamas still has the capacity to fire. Meanwhile, the Israeli forces remain massed along the border, and it seems increasingly likely that there is going to be some type of a ground offensive. The military says that they have all the preparations in place. All that they need now is a green light from the government to move in. Some analysts believe what we may be observing today, in fact, is a softening of the ground to prepare it for some type of incursion. And if and when this incursion does take place, it is very possible that these will be brief incursions, but they will be very forceful incursions. One of the goals of the Israeli military will likely be to draw out the Hamas militants and to engage them. But it is believed that Hamas fighters number as many as 20,000. They have had days to prepare for a incursion, and any type of conflict on the ground could in fact be very bloody. For now, that's the scene from the border. Back to you in New York.
David Lee, we can obviously hear it in your voice. I mean, the amount of anxiety, we can definitely hear it in your voice, and how close you are to some of these bombing sites. Now, take us behind the scenes here. What does it exactly feel like when some of these blasts are going off? Are those Hamas targets there? Are they military installations there behind you? What are you feeling?
Well, I think most of the significant military installations, it is believed, were hit during the first initial day on Saturday. That was some 3 hours and 40 seconds of massive bombing. But what we're observing today are some targets of opportunity, as well as some launch sites as well. We've seen Hamas repeatedly launch a number of rockets today, and it is expected that the Israeli military has identified those sites and has gone after them with a number of different types of aircraft. What we've seen in the skies today, interestingly, are we've seen F-15s, F-16s, we've seen drone aircraft, as well as helicopter gunships. So they've used a variety of means, and also today, off in the distance in the Mediterranean, we have seen some of the Israeli gunboats that have also participated in this military aerial assault. So Hamas has taken, again, a significant pounding today. Its leaders are in hiding. They remain in hiding. One of them recorded a statement earlier, the Prime Minister, and they continue to remain, though, defiant. Back to you.
David, there was a little talk of a potential 48-hour ceasefire between Hamas and Israel. Was there any serious consideration given to this on either side?
It was discussed briefly by the Israelis. The idea was rejected. This was to allow humanitarian aid into Gaza. The Israeli Prime Minister took the position that aid is able to get through almost on a daily basis. They maintain aid is being provided, and any type of ceasefire would simply give Hamas the opportunity to reinforce its positions and would not further the Israeli goals here. There are other diplomatic efforts underway for some type of a ceasefire. Israel today has made a point of stating that it wants to have monitors keeping an eye on Hamas to make sure they comply with whatever agreement is reached, and that unless that is a part of any ceasefire, they're not going to sign on to it.
David, real quickly, those explosions behind you, what was struck back there? Were there houses back there? We couldn't really see.
You know, from our vantage point, I couldn't identify what the targets were. Some of the little earlier, we did see a couple of buildings that were in fact struck. You see this enormous fireball and then this huge billowy smoke, and you can still see the smoke here now. It stays for about 5-10 minutes after each of these blasts. But in a number of instances, it did appear that the Israeli military was targeting areas where there weren't many structures, suggesting they could have been preparing the ground for some type of incursion, some type of advance by ground troops. But again, we're about half a mile away from the border, and it's difficult to tell exactly what they are targeting from where we're positioned.
All right, David Lee Miller, please stay safe. So close to some of these air attacks there, as we can just see barely over your shoulder there. David Lee Miller reporting for us this morning along the Israel-Gaza border. Please stay safe.